It is beautiful. I want to see if I can get like a 50-year lease back here. There's all the flat ground right there. Hey girl. There's my girls. They all wandered back here, but I'm gonna have to get my son. She has been standing way off from everybody else all day. And we're trying to figure out when we got our ram. I'm wondering if I miscalculated when they're due to lamb. She may be in labor. Either that or she may be sick. I hope it's not the latter. Yuck.
What does it look like?
I don't know what that is. I mean, it's poop. I don't know. That's not normal. Can anybody tell me what that is? I mean, is she... That ain't normal poop. That smells bad, bad, bad. We're gonna go check on her, see if she'll let us even go near her. There's little Ash hiding in the bushes. Hey girl, what a pretty sight. Which one's that one?
That one right there by the tree?
Yeah.
Ewok.
There's Ewok. And what's the name of the one we're going to check on?
Llama.
Now we're going to go check on Llama. Let's go that way. I'm wondering if she's in labor. I don't want her up here if she's in labor.
But you said it's 3 weeks away.
Well, that's what I recall my calculations being the end of March, but were my calculations off?
It's okay. No?
I was trying to look and see under her tail if there's anything that might indicate that she has any issues going on. See, I think there's a baby moving right here. Might just be her breathing, or see how they're kicking around?
Yeah.
She may just be feeling advanced pregnancy blues.
Maybe she...
I saw her chewing her cud a while ago, you know.
I got a feeling she's not sick. She's probably just hurting from
I wonder if we can't just slowly walk her back towards the house. Don't go too fast, son. I'm wondering if she just ain't tired. Which if we take her to get sheared, if we get her sheared, it might overstress her. If we don't, the babies may have a hard time, and her. Teats are starting to drop their udders, but you can't tell because of all the crud and the wool and everything.
She's by far the nicest one.
Oh yeah. Alright, well, let's just pray that she's okay and that she makes it. See, she seems to be just going from dry spot to dry spot and then just chilling out. She may just be wore out with pregnancy and this horrible weather. Huh?
Maybe we should just let her lay down somewhere.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
under those trees is where she usually
I'll leave her alone. Well, to give you an idea of what the weather's like here and how it goes back and forth with such severity and how weird it is, it got up to almost not quite 50 today. We still have 8 and 10 inches of snow piled up in places. I videotaped this earlier and it was all slush and water. That was 4 hours ago. It was slush and it's solid again. It's maddening. It is maddening. Just another few weeks hopefully and we'll be done. Even though I believe I read that Idaho, this area of Idaho has experienced snow. Historically, they have experienced snow in every month other than August. I had a friend. He said his family was throwing a 4th of July party, and they woke up to 7 or 8 inches of snow one time. And usually that time of year, it's already close to 95 to 105. So you never know. You just never know. But you know, in 4 hours, it's dropped 15 plus degrees and froze everything up. So that's where we are. All right, well, I just talked to my good friend Andrew. He's worked with sheep quite a bit, and I explained what it was I was seeing in the lamb droppings, and I showed it to my wife, who is a midwife, and she doesn't know anything about sheep, but she knows about, you know, mucus plugs and things like that. That is not my forte, but she said that's what it looked like, that the mucus plug, or you know, whatever it is, came out while she was defecating, and when she was pooping, it came out and got mixed up, and that's what it looked like. And Andrew said he's never seen that, but he said it sounds like that's what it could be. He said he supposes it's possible. He's just never noticed it because he sees them just when the bag's coming out. So she's in a barn by herself. Whoops, my light went out. And we are headed down. I have like half a bale of straw. So we're going to go down and get the straw, set it up for her in the barn. She'll be there by herself tonight. And if she's going in already, it's very possible that the other two in the next 48 hours could be going in. So this might be a long weekend and an exciting weekend. We've been waiting so long to have our babies. So I'm praying that's it, because if that's not it, she's dying, because it was nasty. So if that did not come from a whatever they call all that stuff, a mucus plug and all that, if that's not what was in that poop, then she's rotten from the inside. So we'll have to see. But hopefully it's babies. We're hoping it's babies. We had puppies earlier in this week. Now we may have sheep tonight. We're going to be checking her all through the night. So we're going to get the straw, and we'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, Caleb's in here spreading out the straw that we have available. This is the chicken coop we were just trying to build out for the chickens. This girl right here, I called a friend of ours who's worked with sheep quite a bit. I just talked to you about. He thinks that she might be in labor, so we're going to be checking on her pretty regularly. She's gotten quite docile right now, and we just went on ahead and put the other two in here, well, and the ram's in here as well. We could take him out, I suppose, but he doesn't need to be in here. But all these girls are going to want to have some nice dry spots. Why don't you get this straw here and finish filling up an area. Leave a couple of pads over here to put on, and then over there, so they have plenty of room. I'm out here with my phone as a light. We don't have electricity in this barn. They were all introduced to Caesar. I gotta find out, see if I can find the date I brought them home. For some reason I keep wanting to say like the 7th of October, but it could have been the 2nd or 3rd of October, which would put them within the next few days. So I think I was told a breeding in October the, what was it he said? If you breed them on October 10th, the due date is March 15th. And today today's March 7th. So yeah, if we introduced them the 2nd or 3rd of October, which I think it was early October, then it's probably what it is. All right, we'll check it out later. Tonight, we're gonna be checking on the sheep about every 2 hours or so throughout the night, see what's going on. Let's check them out. See anything yet. We're just trying to take a look at them and see if there's anything we see obvious. We're not seeing anything obvious with them. Alright, we'll come back in a couple of hours, check on them again. Alright, well, it is 6 a.m. The videos were so dark last night, I decided to, oh hush, I decided to wait until there was some daylight out to film. It's been a somewhat uneventful night, so we're going to see, now it's almost 6 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to check and see how the girls are doing again. We've been out here every 2 hours or so since about midnight, and they still don't look like anything's going on. Well, still uneventful, not seeing anything happening. So that first film, little clip I did last night, it was almost midnight. It's been a long night. It's been a long night, especially for nothing happening. We were pretty excited, thinking maybe this was gonna happen. So we're probably gonna shut them into this little confined area over here, so we can see them easier throughout the day. And I'm going to leave them in here for another 2 hours, and then we're going to come back out here, maybe start working out here again. It's awfully cold. Whew. Nervous father-to-be. Anyhow, we like I said, we've been just checking on them. I say we. My son hadn't gotten up again, but it hasn't been eventful. I haven't seen anything more to indicate that she's in labor. And it's just turned into a really long night. So, but it is a beautiful morning. We did not have more snow last night, so it's even more beautiful. I'll see if I can't show you a shot of the sunrise here. Of course, I say there hasn't been any more snow, and here comes snow. You've got to be kidding me. I mean, as soon as I said that, a flake fell on my face. It better be all there is. Yeah, I thought that was fog over there, but that is snow coming down. It's not coming down hard, but just a little bit. Look at that. Ain't that some pretty sunrise. It's where it'll come up, probably another half hour. I'm gonna go get some coffee. of the same. Snow, lots of snow. Finally got a good fire going. You can see the smoke coming out of the chimney. And you know, I said a couple days ago, I heard a forecast that we were supposed to be up near 70 in a couple of days. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's saying now our high over the next 5 or 6 days will be 49, which should still be enough to melt this snow, but it just keeps coming down. And that's been the hard. All my roosters decided to let me know how they felt about getting kicked out of their home. You know, there's just something about whenever you're getting a lot of snow and it's just getting below freezing. It really just stinks. It's just, I don't know, it's just, I'm trying not to get too negative. I know I get negative about it a lot lately. It's the weather. What can you do? You know, we were expecting, I'm just looking in on the sheet. We were expecting a different situation. You know, such a mild winter. It was great. I saw something the other day saying something about it looks like a possible switch in the polarities of the earth or something. I didn't really read into it much. I have no idea what they're talking about, but they're saying that I have heard a lot about the jet streams from the Arctic are dipping more into North America, and at one point a week or so ago it was actually colder here, or in parts of the US. I don't know that it was here, but it was much colder here than it was in the Arctic. So, you know, that's cold. But I'm looking in on my sheep. I don't see any indication that there's a baby or anything. So we're just gonna get them some food and water, and I think we're gonna give them food and water. This is a garden area. Let me see if I can turn this around so I can show you. We have this old barn here, and it needs a lot of work. It was set up as a chicken coop for several years, and we went from like this post right here, and it came straight across over to this post, and it's all fenced in behind it. And we had covering this entire section, which I forget how big this section is. It's like, oh, 1, 2, 3, I don't remember. It's like 60 by 40 or 60 by 60, something like that. And what's up, Caesar? How you doing? Is that snow bugging you? Is that snow bugging you? Yeah, you're a good boy. We used to raise egg chickens, and we sold a lot of eggs in the area, and at a co-op an hour and a half away we used to sell them a lot of eggs. Now we're going to divide this up into coops, separated coops for our different breeds for our hatchery, and they'll have runs all around here. But right now we have the sheep in there, and this whole area out front here, there's a fence that goes all the way along, all the way down the hill, around here, and up to the front yard fence. And this is our garden area, and this is a big chore for springtime. It's probably going to be an expensive chore come springtime, because we need to bring in at least 5 to, we could probably bring in 10 dump truck loads of manure if we can find it, and wood chips and all kinds of stuff. And we're going to cover these different shelves, and in between the shelves with manure and wood chips as much as we can. And this year it might just be that we get a couple of shelves this year. I hope we can get more, but it might only be that we get a couple. We may get I may go out and seek out a whole lot of extra straw and stuff, and just fill in some of the other areas. Anyhow, we got a lot of stuff to do, this weather doesn't help at all. My tent over there, the snow has been pounding so hard, and I can't get all the snow off of it at the bottom, and it's collapsed one side completely. And I got a lot of my wood and stuff in there I need for my basement, and I can't even move it. I can't move it. This summer, at some point, I need to take that tent down, stretch it out, and we're gonna put a thick sealant on it. It's actually like a paint, like a super thick latex paint they use to seal up. You can seal grain bins. You can actually paint your roof with it and seal it up. But I think what we're going to do is buy a 5-gallon bucket and do that whole tent. But I can't even get in there to get my wood out to start working on. I can't do some of the basement work I need to get done. I got a lot of wood down in the barn I'm going to have to start using. But it's just, we got a lot. We got so much to do and so little time. One of the things that'll help us out is if you check us out over at Patreon. It's patreon.com/myhomesteadeducation. There's a link down below. Anything you can help us out with, it's going to give me more time to work out here and to show you some of the things we're learning, and also give us more time to produce products for you, because our patrons, we do plan on giving back. You know, we're going to be giving back seeds that either we grow here, or if we're buying a lot of seeds that we don't have yet that we want to start growing and trying to save here, we're going to be buying extra for all of our patrons. We're going to be doing so many things. So check us out over at patreon.com at My Homestead Education. And if you're interested in chicks, we got orders getting ready to go out for those. There'll be a link to an email. There's a link to an email. My son set up a cockadoodledoo hatchery at gmail.com. You can go there and ask questions or inquire about purchasing some chicks. And we're hoping no later than mid to late April we'll have chicks ready to go. And of course, with this weather, if it doesn't ease up and start warming up, we may not be shipping them until it gets warm. Unless you live here locally. If you live here locally, we'll be able to deliver locally, and that's part of the cost already figured in for local delivery. If we have to ship through the mail, I got to figure it out, but there will be some additional shipments. So anyhow, time to get in. When the weather's like this, I either work in the basement or try to knock out some computer work. So we're going to go in and get to work. Here is an update on the mushrooms. Now, this is first week of March. They've been in there for, I guess, 3.5 weeks. And this one, you can see there's not really much of anything going on here. Same with this one here. They're not these aren't doing anything. I don't see any mycelium whatsoever growing in them. Move those aside and let's look at these. Look at that. That's either mycelium from the mushrooms or something really nasty, but I have a feeling it's mycelium. It looks like mycelium. It started off in the grounds and now it's moving through the straw, and there is a lot of it growing. And this one, it's growing even more. It is covering bits and parts all through, and it's hard to see in this light with the reflections and everything, but there is quite a bit growing here. Excuse the rooster. Anyhow, so it looks like it is growing. I'm going to let it keep going. I'm going to give these a little bit more time to see what's going on, and I don't remember what I put in these, what's what, so I'm going to have to, if these don't end up growing, I'm gonna have to pour it out and find out if I put stems or tops in them and see what's going on with them. So I'm gonna let this completely take over and turn solid white before I look to put them into something, you know, a large sack full of more medium to expand and then fruit from there. So is there anything else? Oh, you know what? I got some onions that we processed I wanted to show you. We still have a lot of onions left. I mean, we haven't hardly touched them. We have, I'm trying to remember, is that, I guess we have gone through one whole sack maybe. I thought we had, oh, you know what, we had 5 sacks total. So no, we haven't. So we've done, oh, a little bit more than half of this sack, and just starting on that one. So we've probably done about 50 pounds. We've used a couple of the red ones, and we also had a couple of these bags full of good ones that we hand-picked off the bottom of that trailer. But we had between 260 and 280 pounds of onions, and earlier in the week we started processing them. We got a bunch cut up and put in the freezer, and we realized, you know what, if we freeze all of this, we're not going to have freezer room for anything else. So we started putting them in the dehydrator, and we got lots of time because these should stay good for a long time. But there is what came out of our dehydrator, and this is a large container. This is an old cottage cheese container. Actually, we don't throw anything away around here that we can use. These are dried, nice and crispy, and I mean, they have an amazing smell. They're very sweet. They taste great. We had some red ones. We didn't do them quite right. We were putting wax paper down on the trays, so it's not just filling the whole bottom of the dehydrator up with liquid. And when we did these, we put them on pretty thick. This is 10 trays that were dried up and barely packed in here. So we decided, and it took over 24 hours to dry them. I think it was like closer to 30 something hours. But we did some red onions, and my daughter put them on, and we said just put them on a little thinner. We want to see if we can, you know, get these knocked out in 12 hours, and we'll just do more frequent doses of them. She put them on so thin that it wasn't even covering it, and when we tried to take it off, a lot of the wax paper was just dried to nothing. It just pulverized into powder with the onions. So we got a lot of wax paper with our onions. So a lot of that's going to go away. It wasn't, but probably 2 onions worth, maybe 3. So we're going to go back to doing it the way we were, putting it on probably 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch thick on each layer, and then just let them dry. And I will say this though, the red onion, the powder residue that I got from that when I tasted it, you could taste the sugar that was in that onion. It was very, very sweet. So mushrooms coming along. I'm actually pretty happy. I mean, considering I thought that this would not do anything, or because of the substrate we're using, I was afraid that, and it very well could be that this is not any good. It could be that when this really takes off, that it gets really nasty. But for right now, all I see is white mycelium growing in both of these. So I am thrilled about that. And we are going to be having a ton, maybe not literally a ton, but we will have a lot of dried onions. This is probably 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds worth of dried onions, and it probably came from 20 pounds, 15 pounds of onions. So anyhow, we're hoping to turn this into 20+ pounds of dried onions. Alright guys, I really appreciate you watching episode 8. Check us out at Patreon, at patreon.com/myhomesteadeducation. Also, you can check out our Amazon links below. Any purchase you make through those, My Homestead Education gets just a little bit, and it really helps us out here. We are really trying to get to where we're viewer supported so that we can afford to bring better content, better equipment, to have more time to spend on content, and to show you what it's like to go from the big city to country living and learning as you go. Because it is a ride, it is a tough one, but it's also very enjoyable, especially when you have a little bit of extra time to do it. So thank you guys, I appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.